Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Konexio HighFlyers. Friends, as all of you are aware, in these episodes, we introduce to you emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we make it a point to talk to the promoters and the top managements of such companies. And this helps us to get first-hand information, which is very helpful for all the investors in understanding the company's business model, their growth journey, their future growth plans and aspirations, and this helps all our investors in a very fruitful manner. And friends, today we're going to talk about another interesting company which is going to hit the capital market very soon. The company today we are going to talk is Millworks Technologies Limited. And I have the privilege and pleasure of having the promoter and managing director, Mr. Sridhar Acharya. Sridharji, welcome to the show. It's my pleasure to host you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Avinash, for hosting. Thank you very much.
So, Sridharji, first question, which is very elementary. If you could just explain to us in a simple way, what is exactly our company's business model? What are the precision components, which we develop for a host of sectors like railways, aerospace, defense, semiconductors? If you could just give us a small overview. And to add it to that, Sridharji, if you could tell us, how did this business journey start? I presume it's a first generation company. So how did it hit upon you to get into this business? So please, if you can begin.
Perfect. So I'll start off with our journey when we started off, in 2021. My passion and my partner, Mr. Madhu's passion, has been in CNC machining to make. We are basically mechanical engineers and shop floor people, and with our corporate experience of more than 30 years, we thought that it's time that we do a little bit for the country and then be on our own in the entrepreneurial spirit. And then we started growing organically over the period of years. So Millworks Technologies Limited, we are very clear on our business model. We have two enabled business models. One is build to print. So last 5 to 6 years, prior to Millworks formation also, build to print has been our basic things. The customer here gives us the drawings and 3D models. So we make a feasibility study of those, how to manufacture on a 3-axis, 4-axis, or a 5-axis machine. We make a feasibility, then give a quote, and then we get an order. So this has been our basic fundamental this thing. We are very strong in in machining of these 3 type of machining. Over the period of years, we also started off with a build to spec. The customer gives us the specifications. So now our engineering team gives a proposal that this can be made like this, and this with these tolerances. Once we get the approval from the customer, we make a prototype, and the prototype we submit to them. We get it approved, and then we move that into the production. So build to spec is the gestation period is slightly higher compared to the build to print. Build to spec is having higher margins, and then as we move forward, we want to do more of build to spec components rather than build to print. Build to print will be there, but build to spec will be our forte. So this is the business models which we are presently having. And in this business model, what has happened is, post-COVID, we felt that, being in one vertical, prior to COVID or just after COVID, we were predominantly working with the rail business. So very little of aerospace and defense we used to do for the public sector companies in India. So we felt that we have to be in multiple areas, even though geographical conditions doesn't affect our business model. So presently we work in 4 different verticals. And one of them is aerospace, second one is defense, the third one is rail, and the fourth one is semiconductor machinery. So every opportunity in different sectors, whenever we received an RFP or an RFQ, or in the tenders of Government of India's this thing, we have gone ahead and taken initial risk, in getting those inquiries and converted them into a successful orders. So in last 1.5 years, we have gone into every aspect of the defense projects, whether the new customers coming out from Israel or from France or the government of India's, MOD's, RFPs. So we got into most of the activities in the defense sector, and we have been able to successfully convert these RFPs into orders, and some of them we have started delivering them. So
Okay. Hmm.
as we move forward, our focus will be more on the defense sector, and it will grow at a much faster rate as we progress.
Okay. I think Sridharji nicely put out by you. I just wanted to understand one answer which you gave me, semiconductor machinery. Sir, can we take it as you make the entire machinery for semiconductors or some components which are required in the semiconductor machinery? If you could clarify for us.
There are many semiconductor machinery manufacturers in India as well as in Europe. At this moment, we are doing only components for this machinery. We supply these components to the machinery manufacturers.
Okay.
So these
Okay.
are all special purpose machines or
Okay.
SPMs, and
Yeah.
they are not high volume. They are one off. The quantity is as low as one, and a
Correct.
maximum of 10 numbers. So at
Okay.
this moment, only components we are supplying.
Okay. Okay. Acha, Sheetalji, now tell me one thing just from a very layman point of view that you manufacture components for aerospace, defense, railway, semiconductors, as you said. Sir, what is the total SKU capacity? Like how many SKUs might we be having? And where do we source our raw materials? Because I believe we use raw materials like titanium, which is very
Correct.
precious. So, sir, how is the supply logistic managed as far as the raw material sourcing is concerned? If you could please tell us.
Yeah, one is that we are working predominantly right now. More than 50% is in aluminum. When we get an RFP, when we make the feasibility analysis, we inform the customer on availability and non-availability. Now, in the rail sector and in some of the basic in the machineries, there are raw materials which is available in India. So we tell the customer that this is an equivalent which is available in India. Can we go ahead? And we take it up post their confirmation. Now,
Okay.
when it comes to titanium and hast alloy or special plastic material, all these things, the customer gives us the supplier's name, approved suppliers. Some of the Israel customers, they give us, you need to buy from this suppliers only. So
Okay.
here, when it is defense and aerospace, availability of this material right now with this war scenario is slightly difficult, and prices keep fluctuating, compared to what it was 6 or 8 months back. So we have a good understanding with our customers. There are two ways. One is that if we are unable to source these raw materials on time, we ask the customers to leverage their connects with the customers. So, for example, very recently we have an order where in which the customer told us, the supplier told us it takes 8 months to delivery. So we requested our Israeli customers, why don't you, talk to them, and then they purchased the raw material and they shipped to us within a month. So it was easy for me to deliver the product a much faster rate. So we have to communicate with the customers on availability, then the pricing, and then either we can buy or we request them to supply the raw material. So we have been managing this way, and we'll continue to work in this way on the supply chain.
Okay. Understood. So now, Shiralji, just tell us something on the macro opportunity. We all know that defense and aerospace are the fastest growing sectors today, considering that government of India wants to also promote the Make in India philosophy. Sir,
Correct.
according to you, next 3 to 5 years, what is the kind of opportunity, from the defense market, which you have been very aggressive on? how fast and how big is the opportunity available for Millworks going forward? If you could just give us a bird's eye view, that would be helpful.
Yeah. So, as part of our strategic plan, and how we are, right now we are focused on the Israel market. So we, based on our own, communications and understanding with the 12 customers whom we work in Israel, we feel that the defense market in Israel is growing, and the RFPs which we are receiving is sufficient for our 3 to 5 years expansion plans and the growth plans. So Israel market has grown substantially. Then the second one is Make in India's aspect, which you mentioned, as part of this thing. The 7 public sector companies which we have been working. So it is part of an indigenization project which we are working with these companies. So we are participating in this, in this RFPs or RFQs with the government of India's, and we will continue to, grow in this sector also. So if you see our strat plan, international customers, we will continue to grow at a, 60% of our business will come from international, and 40% we will try to focus on our Indian opportunities.
Okay, understood. Sridharji, now you mentioned about the Israel orders. I just wanted to understand that how this relationship got developed. Like, was it a normal RHP, RFQ, or basically, you got some business contacts which helped you get business from Israel? How did the business journey from Israel start? And what kind of components are we making here? Are these built to spec or built to print? If you could give us an idea.
Yeah, there are two, both the build to print and build to spec. We are working with the Israeli customers. One of the customer is very predominant in Israel, which is making, who is refurbishing the engines for all the F-16 and F-35 planes. So the NATO countries are sending all these planes to Tel Aviv to refurbish those engines, and we are part of this component supplier. We supply specific components which goes into these engines, as part of the spare requirement. So this is a very niche area which we are working. This is again a build to print. The customer gives us a print. The volumes are very small, but high precision titanium and stainless steel parts, and a high level of accuracy is required. So this is for the engine. The second customer which we are working, these are all the accessories used for holding the missiles on an aircraft or on a navy. So these things which we are presently working with the Israel customers. The relationship how we built is, when the first RFP came, we gave a quality and on time. Repeat orders kept coming in, and then there's a relationship you build. So it has taken 4 to 5 years to build this relation. Now, from organic growth, it's up to us how we take these projects and scale it up exponentially. So we are
Okay.
taking this opportunity here to grow.
So, and I think very nicely put
Yes.
out by you, Sridharji. Sir, now tell me, typically, when the order comes in, Sridharji, what's the kind of speed to market? Like you get an order from an Israeli customer, right? If it's a build to print kind of order, how much time does it take from getting the order to the execution and commissioning of that order? Roughly, what could be the timeline?
So when we get an RFP, we are supposed to send a detailed quotation and execution plan within 4 working days of the RFP. So many times the customer takes, based on his their urgency. Sometimes within 10 days we get a purchase order or a negotiated price. Within 10 days we normally get it. When
Okay.
it is at a component level, the delivery times are somewhere between 60 to 90 days based on the raw material availability. So we are supposed to deliver the components within 90 days. the first article samples, and then move into the production. When it is an assembly or a sub-assembly, these are all projects, and then
Yeah.
this takes a slightly higher time. The quotation itself, it will take around 2 weeks for us to submit, where in which there are more than 100 components which comes as an assembly. And for us to deliver the first samples, it normally takes between 6 to 8 months. So and then it moves once the prototypes are approved or the samples are approved, then it's only a matter of lead time and the staggered deliveries of the quantities which we agree upon during the final stages of negotiation.
Okay. Acha, Sridharji, tell me one thing from a financial point of view. Normally, for your export orders, do you get any advance, say 20-25%, or is it entirely payable once the product is delivered to the customer?
We had this issue prior to our, prior to February earlier this year, before this war started. We normally used, because of the relationship which we built over the period of years, we used to get 100% payment on 60 days credit once it is invoiced at our factory. Having seen this, difficulty for us on the working capital requirements, we changed this. We try to inform, communicate to the customers that, because these are all large projects which we cannot handle without an advance payment. So
Correct.
post February, every order we are taking 30% advance for the customers, from all the 12 customers in Israel or even in Europe. These customers have obliged, and then they are giving us 30% advance, and the remaining amount is normally 60 days from the date of invoicing from us.
Okay. Sir, now one important question is that typically for our kind of products which are customized for the customer, are there any comparable peers globally whom we compete, or these are genuinely products which are designed completely as per the customer requirements, and you are one of the few vendors? I just want to understand, are there any comparable global companies or maybe Indian companies which are into the similar product lines?
So globally, there are many peers, and these Israel customers, they have been working specifically with other European suppliers. So because of some of the geopolitical reasons, these customers have moved most of them to Indian suppliers. And then when they start working with Indian suppliers on specific projects, they don't go they don't go with any other suppliers. So if a project I'm working, so there is a contractual obligation. If this product they are working with us, they will go for with us for the next 5 years.
Okay.
So we agree on a contractual obligation, a minimum of 5 years. It can extend up to 15 years. So
Okay.
this is the contractual obligations which we have right now.
Okay, so one thing is very clear, the runway for growth is pretty large because the stickiness with the customer is for a large number of years. So my thinking is right.
Correct.
So it's going to be at least minimum 5 years and above. Sir, tell us
Yes.
one thing, like now, we have spoken so much about the product, skill set about our company. Sir, what is it that, is our USP? Like, you said there are global competitors, but if, business comes from Israel, business comes from the domestic market, what are the key qualitative aspects of the business which we have built because of your intrinsic kind of skill sets, your team skill sets? 2-3 points which you can highlight that we are doing our job slightly better than what competitors and customers are liking our products, our execution, our service. Sir, if you could just add 2-3 points for us.
Yeah. So one is that we started moving from a component supplier to an assembly or a sub-assembly. So one is that machine component. There is a sheet metal. Then there is the bought-out items like fasteners and other things. And then, as a sub-assembly and an assembly, we are making this a USP. The customer is coming back with a project rather than a component. So we are very good in project execution. We work on a Gantt chart, with a timely delivery of a component or a this thing. When a project is assigned to us, we normally work on a very clear project management schedule, and this is very important for us on work with a very clear project management execution plan, right from the purchase of the raw material or to the delivery or giving a quality related one. So this is one which we map very clearly and give the expected timelines for the delivery. The other thing is we have put in for every customer a POC or a point of contact. Every communication, right from technical review, product costing, quality. So this person is the front face to the customer. So internally, he will work with the different teams in the operations or in quality or any any this thing. So he will work with them and give the information to the customer. Also, the review mechanisms which we have, most of the customers will get an updated review every week on the status of the project. So this is one thing, the customer is quite happy with the progress, and they intend to work with us in this way.
Okay. I think nicely put out by you, sir. Now let's talk about the financials. I think financials undoubtedly have been very strong. I think I was
Yeah,
just seeing the latest RHP. Sir, top
yeah,
line of 148 crores, bottom line of 37
correct,
crores. Sir,
correct.
just tell us what exactly were the key drivers for this performance. Was it a volume and value push combination which helped you to improve your top line, your profitability, and of course your absolute profit number? Sir, one or two reasons why this significant jump has happened in the last 12 months. If you could please tell us.
So, yeah, Avinash, what happened over the period of time? There were there were a lot of opportunities, which we received, either from the Israel customers or from our own quick pay company, which is manufacturing of drones. There are significant amount of skill set which Millworks has, and quick pay has separately their own skill sets. Like we work on our 3D printers, machining, a very small integration of boards, like battery management systems and all. We have that skill set at Millworks. So what we did is we took a calculated risk. Let's do it together, to deliver a product which is of a world class facility, a loitering munion drone working for quick pay. So this added to the top line as well as bottom line. So we helped quick pay to take up this project, right from advanced bank guarantee or any of those financial requirements, and then we handheld during the development of this product in last 8 months, and this was a successful effort by both of us together to deliver a loitering minion drone. So to answer your question, we did take a lot of risk, and any opportunities which we it came in last 1 year, we took it as a challenge and try to deliver that in time, and the numbers just followed behind us. So this is the same way we are going to work. Any opportunities which comes, we evaluate clearly whether it is part of our own forte or whether it is, we take a calculated risk and then move forward. Sometimes, most of the times, when we take risk, it really works out very well. So that's how the numbers are much better compared to our previous years in this, what you have seen in the RHP.
Okay. Sir, now one question I wanted to ask you, which got left out earlier. Sir, I believe you all are doing a saddle project, specifically for F-16. Just if you could
Correct.
briefly tell us, what is the scope of activity for us there? And secondly, sir, this quick pay drone company, which you mentioned that you are in the process of also helping them, manufacture those loitering drones. Sir, is this company quick pay drone already empaneled by the Defense Ministry to get this order? I mean, just wanted to understand this very clearly because not much information is known about this company.
So I will first talk about the quick pay. Quick pay drones has been in this drone development way back in 2019. when they changed their own product line to drones. So now it took many years for them to develop a loitering medium drone, get it approved from MOD. It took, they have built more than 40 drones themselves, took trials at the northern sector and eastern sector, and then approved. They proved it that they really can make a good loitering medium drone. So based on all these trials, they have been approved by MOD, the artillery and the northern division. And after this approvals, their factory, which is based out of Noida, this is also a defense license is given to them to manufacture the loitering medium drones. And also the skill set which they have slightly more than 60 employees, amazing people which they have in the company, where they design the firmware and all the electronic boards. They have complete set of the skill set to build the entire drones. So we made our own due diligence before we invested, and then it took us some time, and then we decided to take up the projects along with them. And what happens is, when you hold hands together, you can normally give a really good product. So we complement each other. They are very good in software development and electronic integration and front ending in the MOD, Ministry of Defense. So we are good at the back end. So it really helped us during our journey. Now, coming back to the your first question on the saddle project. So the saddle project is it's like a fixture. It goes into an aircraft, where it holds the missile systems. It is basically called as a carrier, a carrier, to hold a missile. It gets released, when a missile is released, this saddle also get released. So there's a high volume requirement of this saddle, or what they call is carrier for the um, missile systems. So we have been entrusted on the development of this project, and at this moment we have completed all our design and prototyping of all these projects, and this is under the approval stage right now. So once this is approved, this is going to be a really good a project for Millworks to move forward. This project has machined component. There is a sheet metal component. There is riveting, welding, integrating the complete assembly, and then testing it, with a prototype, which we have a prototype of a missile, and then validating for the, for the quality of the system. So this is a very important project, and we are seriously working with a strong, dedicated team put on this. There are critical requirements in terms of raw material sourcing, as well as the requirement on the quality side in dimensions for this project.
Okay. Sir, now just wanted to understand that in our business, is there any concept like L1 orders or confirm orders? Because typically the way you are speaking, we would not like to get the number from you, but typically, how do you plan your production? Like typically, do you have customers who give you repeat business, or typically you know their projects, you know their schedules, and accordingly production is synchronized? So if you could tell us something on this.
Uh, all my international customers, we work. It's a very it's normally it's a contractual project management tool, where in which once the prototype is approved, or the products are approved, this goes on a schedule basis for every month. So much quantity is required over the period of 5 years. Sometimes the purchase orders are released on a monthly basis on a bigger contractual arrangement. Like they require 2,500 pieces per annum, and you are supposed to ship them 250 per month. So 250 per month can become 280 or 220. Those quantity can vary, but the annual volumes are fixed, and then
Okay.
this is based on a schedule. So this is one way of working. All my international customers, we don't work on L1 basis. We work on the a quotation which we give, and the quality which we give, the service and on-time delivery. So we work with in this way. But we are working with the 7 divisions of the public sector undertaken in India, some large projects which we are now become L1, and this will get converted into an order over the period of time, next 2-3 months. In the drone sector and all the Ministry of Defense projects, which we are working either in BrahMos or in, most of them work on the L1 aspect. So sometimes it is a pain. If you ask me, a hit rate of the L1, we lose 90% of the orders. We won't get it because either we are expensive or feasibility. So only 10% is our hit rate, but we are happy in executing those 10%,
Okay.
and we will continue to be in this segment also.
Okay. So fine. Sir, now let's come to the most important question. Sir, we are going public, so it's a big credible achievement to you and your team. Sir, tell us,
Yes.
sir, what is the size of the capital market offer? How much capital are we raising from the market, and what is the broad objective of using this money?
We are raising around 160 crore from the market. Mainly the objective of this, out of this 60 crore, we are trying to spend it mainly for our capex. So we intend to put up a world-class facility with best machines from India and abroad. Presently we are lacking a controlled atmosphere facility. So to give a high-end product in aerospace and defense, we require a class 10,000 or a air-conditioned factory, which we do not have. So we are going to put up in next 6 months a world-class facility on, a controlled atmosphere. This thing. We are also adding 31 new CNC machines from India and abroad. So in the next 6 to 8 months, so we are going to increase our capability and capacity. So
Okay.
we are going to spend a lot of money on the world-class facility. Now the remaining amount, which is we are using it for our working capital purpose, because as we have been working a lot with the government of India's public sector projects, we require a lot of money for the working capital requirement. So we continue to use this funds for our working capital requirement.
Okay. Sir, just wanted to understand this capex which you mentioned. This is going to come at the existing facility itself?
We have one facility, Unit 4. The Unit 4 is having additional 20,000 square feet space available right now. So
Okay.
as part of our for expansion plans, all these machines will come into the Unit 4 facility, and
Okay.
for it will be utilized in next 6 to 8 months. This facility will have most of the machines.
Okay. So hopefully, sir, I think probably 27, 28 could be a year where you could see complete execution from these machines, right?
Correct, sir. So 27 January onwards, you will be seeing all the machines getting running in
Okay.
full capacity.
Right. Right. So now the most important question, which is very important, which a lot of analysts and myself would also look to know. We have been doing very well on the top line, on the profitability, on the margin, sir. But as you all aware, defense is a very long payable business. So our cash flows have
Yeah,
not been positive. Sir, I just
correct.
want to understand now, since you're going to get a lot of money from working capital, from the
Yeah.
public issue, can we expect that this high dependence of cash flows not getting impacted positively because of slow payments? Because money will surely come. I'm sure your defense customers will pay you, but obviously with an elongated period. But can this period be shortened going forward in the next, say, couple of years?
This is why we want to balance between our international and the local customers. So as I mentioned to you earlier, so we this advance payments with all my international customers will add into my the problems which I am having on the cash flows. So 30% of that problem is solved. But the bigger problem which I have on the L1 business, either in the drone business, this is a policy which the government of India is doing, but it is a problem for every every MSME or a growing company, that you have to pay 10% of the bank guarantee, and you get paid only after the delivery. So we
Yeah,
have to live with that policy, and then this is something it is very difficult for me to handle. So the project managements, when I'm working on the L1, this thing, we have to live with that this thing and balance. So this is why we are trying to do 70/30 per try to business, get more projects from international customers where you get advance payments. I
correct.
will not get any advance payments from any of the MOD or the public sector orders. So I have to live
Yeah.
with this scenario.
I think
Yeah.
understood very well, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, last question now. We are in a very high growth, serving industry like defense, aerospace, railways. Sir, tell us, now what is the challenge for you? Like, is it execution or is it basically maintaining your quality standard for your products? What could be the key risk in our business, according to you?
According to me, there are 3 to 4 very important risks which presently I'm going through. One is that Bangalore being such a cosmopolitan area, hiring a really good talented person, either in engineering or in the quality or in operations or programmers for my CNC machine, is a big challenge. So I think, post our IPO, our, this challenge may get mitigated, with the name Millworks getting into the market. So people will be willing to work with us. This is one, the people's management is going to be a bigger risk. Second thing is, the execution challenges which which we have is the raw material availability or the period of time. So the gestation period of this raw material is very high in some of the areas, so the project gets postponed or moved towards whether when it has to be in months, it will go from 1 or 2 months to 4 to 5 months. So that is going to be also be a challenge on the supply chain. But otherwise, a quality of the product or the on-time delivery of any of those projects is not a challenge, not a risk. We are good at it in executing that on time and giving a quality required by the customer. So this the two risks which we right now foresee is on the skilled labor, and the second thing is on the supply chain of the raw material.
Well, I think it was my pleasure, Sridharji, to talk to you. And I think please accept my best wishes to you, your entire
Thank you,
management
sir.
team, and sir, best
Thank you,
wishes
sir.
for your public issue also. Thank you very
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.